Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another book review. I recently picked up this absolutely magnificent book by Max Lucado, or Lucado, I think it's Lucado. I've read many of Mr. Lucado's books before, and it's very short, and it's one book that you can get through in just one day. And I picked it up because, well, first of all, the title caught my attention, and I thought, I'm really going through some hard things, and uh, matters have been difficult, but I start reading this book, and I think, I don't have problems. I'm actually very blessed, and it just kicked me in the butt. It was the necessary butt kick that I needed to pull myself up on my bootstraps, as my dad would like to say. He was in the army. Yeah, and I can relate to that. There's one chapter that is, oh, so this is boot camp. I thought, one of them is about, which is something I'm very familiar with, and a lot of these chapters really spoke to me on a very personal level, and it couldn't have come to me at a better time. And I don't believe in coincidence. I know that everything happens for a reason, although we might not completely understand why that would be. But this book could not have come to me at a more opportune time, so this was very serendipitous. I love this book. It speaks of one of my favorite stories in the Bible, which is that of Joseph the Dreamer, with whom I can relate quite a bit. I always considered myself on an even keel with Joseph, because like Joseph, instead of being born the 11th out of a whole tribe of siblings, I'm the only child in my family. I was my mother's only girl, because what happened is her original family, her first son, died. He had something called megalocolon, and if you don't know what that is, you can look it up on the internet. But when he was going in for his second operation, he had a heart attack on the gurney and died, and he was only 2. And mother did go ahead and have another child, another half-brother, one I never got to meet. I never got to meet my half-brothers, but he was born to her perfectly fine, perfectly normal, perfectly healthy, and then she adopted a third. They went to Alaska over the summer, and it was around July. I think it was 18th or so. I can't remember the exact date, because I can recall when she was still with us that Mom, she would just kind of seclude herself, and she would become very aloof and quiet, and she just didn't want to have anything to do with anybody. But at that time, her favorite brother was flying a jet plane. He was a bush pilot in Alaska, and along with my stepdad, I know it's strange that I call him my stepfather, but he knew my mother first, so I didn't know Jack personally, but Jack is my stepfather, and I owe him that respect. Anyway, my stepfather and my half-brothers and my uncle, whom I never met, they all got into that plane, and of course it was a low, thick fog on that day, and visibility was very low. But anyway, you can probably imagine how the story ended, because if the story hadn't ended the way it did, I wouldn't be here today celebrating my birthday anniversary. So I looked at this and I thought, my mother, she went through far worse than I have ever gone through. And I look at the stories, and here I thought, I don't know what I'm talking about. This is ridiculous. Why do I feel sorry for myself? And I said, stop it. So I looked at that chapter. There was one chapter that was Keep Calm, Carry On, which is actually one of my favorite slogans, and it speaks of how that was a slogan that was actually one that was not used during the war, but I'm not going to go into that. But that was probably my favorite chapter, other than just the one about waiting. But as far as books are concerned, it's really stupendous, and really it should be read by anybody who's going through turbulent times worse than mine. Mine are just, no, I don't even know what I'm speaking of. I don't have turbulent times that I'm undergoing. This book was the slap in the face that I needed. It just made me realize that I am very fortunate, and my life is blessed, and it may not be what I want it to be right now, but I know that things are going to improve in the near future. Just like any other of Max Lucado's books, it's really wonderfully written. It's very straightforward and to the point, and very uplifting. And mainly it's about Joseph's story, and he knew depression very well. And he talks about Job and some other characters in the Bible that went through some difficult times, and it's just really enlightening, I felt. And it's just a short, sweet book that you can pick up and read in no time flat. You can finish it in a day. If you have a chance to pick it up, then definitely do so. If you think that you're going through a really difficult time, actually Max says in the book that God's actually using it for the good, and it'll be turned into, it'll actually work out in ways that you never thought possible. And I was I was thinking about some of the times I had in the past where I was just in a horrible pit, going through some deep depression. That was a long time ago. That was a different Alchemist 02. But I don't even recognize that girl anymore. That woman is, she's gone, and I'm glad, because had I not gone through that, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And that's what the book, I think, is really starting to stress, is you may not see the light at the other end of the tunnel, but although you can't, eventually everything will work out for the good, and you just have to trust in that. You have to have faith. You can't let go. You have to, even though you might be angry, it's okay to be angry. I've been angry. I gotta tell you another confession. When my mom passed away, when she was going through her cancer, her uterine cancer, she had it defeated for 2 years, and uterine cancer is one of those things that when it comes back, it returns with a vengeance. And when my mother was going through deterioration, and I just saw her waste away in front of my eyes, I hated God. I just, I thought, why is this happening? I don't understand. Why does my mother have to go through this? And I asked question upon question upon question, and I received no answer at that time. But she accepted death, and I knew she was going to die. Ever since she had that biopsy, and when everything went downhill, I had a knot in my stomach. I thought, she's not long for this world. I didn't want to tell her anything, because I was afraid. I thought if I tell her, she's never going to talk to me ever again. But it's one of those gifts that I have that I can't really shut off. It's just when I feel it coming on, I know. I can't explain it any other way, and that's probably why a lot of people are afraid of me. And I don't tell a lot of people about it, because they think I'm the Grim Reaper incarnate. But but it's a gift. I consider it a gift. I don't consider it something bad. And death is not the end, although we feel like it is. There's a chapter in there about goodbyes as well, and I felt that was very appropriate, especially because when somebody close to you passes away, it's hard, and you just have to take one day at a time. You got to be gentle with yourself. You can't really think that everybody's going to accommodate you. You can't feel like people are going to say, oh, well, you should just, there are people out there that you just want to throttle. They'll say, oh, you should just get over it, suck it up. Moron. I mean, they probably have never really had to deal with the death of a loved one, but even though they may not have, they're trying to be helpful. Don't be harsh on them, even though you might feel like slapping them upside the face and kicking them into next Thursday. I mean, don't do that. But this whole book is so very useful and so very helpful. It just came out, and it was just something that called to me, and it was exactly what I needed. It was the ballast, as he talks about. He talks about ballast in the book. It was the ballast that I was seeking. I feel like I have an anchor now. My anchor, dare I go into it? I have an anchor. I really don't know what else to say about You'll Get Through This, other than it's probably one of the best books I've ever read. And though it's small, there's a lot to it. It's very potent. It's very profound, and it is really quite a substantial book. 2 thumbs up, 5 stars, hands down. And another real miracle by Max Lucado, and he shares a lot of personal stories in this book from people that he's met with their own Joseph tales and their Egypt desert experiences. A lot of us go through desert experiences, like Sylvia Browne talks about that in many of her books, which I absolutely love. And I think that I'm going through one right now, but it's okay. I mean, there's an oasis. There's always an oasis. And I will find my oasis. It will come. And I know this because I've seen it. I've had glimpses of what this oasis will be like when I get there. But it's just a matter of time. It's not my timing. And all this was an epiphany that just came upon me. And I'm really glad that it happened all of a sudden. And those of you who are out there and watch my videos and know me, I just wanted to tell you, if you're going through a difficult time, pick this book up. I think that it'll be the necessary butt kick that you need, or the necessary crutch, or the necessary arm around the shoulder, whatever you need. I think this book will answer a lot of questions for you. It may not answer every question, but at least it'll give you some respite from your destructive thoughts, whatever they may be. And my prayer is that whatever that you're going through, no matter how difficult or turbulent or tremulous it may be, know that it will have an end. And like the book says, you'll get through it. So just know that I'm here, and I support you too, and I'm rooting for you. So don't give up. Like one of my favorite people said, Winnie Churchill, never, 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 never give up.